Welcome to Photojournalism, the elements that tell a story of photos. Okay, in photojournalism, every photo has one overriding purpose. It absolutely must at all times. It must tell a story. You can take a picture and that's a photograph, but for it to be photojournalism, it has to tell a story, it has to convey information, such as who, what, why, when, where, or how. Or it might just show details that help create a visual narrative or a visual story. A picture of the sun setting over the beach is a picture, but a picture of the sun rising in the early morning over a steel mill as the workers file in, that's photojournalism. It's telling a story about the hard life they live. What story does this tell about graduation? We see a man in a suit or a tie and a shirt with a beach ball. We see students laughing, another adult laughing. Obviously, there was some celebration at this graduation. So this is more than just people sitting there looking forward. It tells a story about the life, the atmosphere, and the revelry. What does the story tell about the way students keep their campus? If you look in the foreground, we have trash, and if we look in the background, you see the backs of students walking away. This tells a story that they're turning their backs and walking away from the mess they made. It's simple, but the mind picks up on these things. So it's more than just a picture of trash. By adding those components of the people in the background, it helps tell a little bit more of a story. There are four main elements to try and capture when telling a story with photograph. The first is action. The second is energy. The third is emotion. And the fourth is reaction. Now, action means there's something happening, such as a game, a discussion, event, or movement. It can be as simple as that. Or sometimes specifically something is not happening, such as a girlfriend giving her boyfriend the silent treatment. If you take a picture in a classroom of a teacher teaching and someone at a desk sleeping, that person at the desk does not have any action, but it is specifically telling a story about that classroom. Now, action may also include energy or emotion, but try to capture authentic action as it happens. There are many times on a high school campus where there's genuine action to campus, and that really helps tell the story of the life and times of that campus. Sports, plays, club events, and field trips offer excellent opportunity to capture action. For example, what story does this tell? The team in white rising up, shooting over the team in teal, falling over. It implies success, power, dominance. There's a lot of messages that are conveyed from a single photo. If you just looked at this photo, you would assume that the team in white was probably the successful team. Now remember that learning, discussion, collaboration are also forms of action to capture. It doesn't have to be sporting action. What does this story tell? We see students working with technology. We see them engaged. We see them physically touching and looking. And you don't see a teacher presence. This tells the story that these students are capable of working by themselves with the technology. Now, energy means that there's a visible force or power that can tell the story. Pep rallies, sidelines of games before important plays, afternoons before holidays provide excellent opportunities to capture the energy of a high school. Now, energy may also include action or emotion, but try to capture authentic energy when you feel it. And it really is something you can feel and you can sense, especially on a high school campus. School spirit, friendship, enthusiasm all represent forms of energy that tell a story. And while there's action here and emotion here, there's also great energy, the energy of a high school campus. Performances also provide a great example of energy. Energy will attract the viewer or the reader. Not only this photo interesting in its composition of this performance, but the energy of it, the presence of it will draw the reader in. Now, emotion means the photo captures the visible joy, sorrow, anger, heartbreak, elation, or other powerful emotions that are often present in life. Now, while emotion makes great photos, we must be careful to respect the privacy of others and consider any long-term effects a photo we publish may have on the subject. If you see a student who just missed the game-winning shot and is in tears, we don't want to publish that because, again, student athlete, student performers, remember, first and foremost, they're students. Sometimes shots feature subtle and honest emotions. People talk about romance, love. Here's a great photo that shows kind of an honest, innocent relationship. If you were to look at this, you would sense that they truly care about each other. Sometimes emotions can be coming out in performances. This is a great shot of anger and frustration. And even though it is a performance and it's a play and it's acting, that emotion that's coming forth really helps tell the story of this Shakespearean play. Now, reaction means the photo captures the response to the action or emotion. The picture of the winning score is important, but the crowd's reaction may tell a better story. The look on a student's face during a science experiment captures more than just a chemical reaction. The look on a student's face when they have just opened their acceptance letter to college, that reaction sometimes tells the best story. Now, this is a real photo from a high school football game. The story can explain the play, but this tells the impact of the play. This tells really the impact of the story. Seeing the emotion and the reaction that's coming forth on the faces of the three people here. And incidentally, that is the principal of the school in the glasses there. So that helps tell that story even more. And while this is a composed photo for a profile story, it is still the reaction or the lack of the reaction in the students in the back that completes this shot. While they seemingly go on with their ordinary, dull life in a classroom, right in the middle of it sits a young man on a dirt bike ready to race. So the composition behind this to help tell the story of the profile of the young man wanted this juxtaposition or this comparison of reactions. Now, just remember and review, photojournalism, every photo has one overriding purpose. It must tell a story. And there are four main elements to try and capture when telling the story of the photograph. Action, something is happening, energy, that build up you can feel and almost sense, emotion, the joy, the sorrows, the highs and the lows that people feel, and reaction, people's response to things. If we look for these four elements and we find these four elements in our photos, more often than not, we're going to be successful in telling a story. Now, not every story may have a human being in it or may not have obvious action or emotion. For example, a snowstorm that has buried the school in a white blanket of snow while one person's car is stuck. We may not actually see the person in the picture, but it still will tell the story of the impact of a storm or something like that. But always look at your photos and ask yourself, what story does this tell? Does it tell a story? Just because it's a picture of a person doesn't mean it's telling a story. It must have some sort of narrative visually coming out of it, or some sort of action, energy, emotion, or reaction. Now, complete the practice handout to reinforce these concepts. 4 basic concepts and a general overriding rule that we will apply. While this is simple and it's only 5 things to remember, the application of it can be a little bit difficult. So before you go out and apply these concepts and try to compose photos, I want you to practice a little bit with some questions that will help guide you through them. And now the handout is embedded in a Google form on our class manager syllabus page, or you can go straight to the form on the links on the presentation, but make sure you hit the submit button when you're done. It will grade automatically and your score will be sent to you. Thank you.